Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to find the best fit for your role-playing games. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help us grow. Also, be sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that bell so you get notifications whenever we post new videos. Whether you're a long-time player, long-time DM, new DM, or a new player, finding the right fit for your role-playing games is crucial to enjoying the hobby and having a good experience tabletop role-playing. As I started to think about how to craft these couple of videos we'll put together on finding the right fit, I really wanted to dive into what is some of the major aspects of role-playing from one person to the next. As I was thinking about it, I just started playing around with the concepts of role-playing on different extremes. On one extreme, role-playing is very much getting into the role of your character and acting and taking on that character's characteristics through the game. On the other hand, it's all about rolling dice and seeing how your character's abilities and skills stack up against the challenges presented to them. For a dungeon master, it's very much the same. Role-playing could be playing out the actions and interactions of the NPCs and allies or enemies that the characters will be facing, or rolling the dice, again, to see how those interactions and outcomes will come out based on stats and abilities and scores. Now I'll show a graph later where I've dialed them in a little bit and you can see how I classified them a little different. But we'll call one aspect role-playing, where you're assuming the role of your character, and the other rolling play, where you're more dependent on the dice determining what goes on at the table. So I put two different aspects on either end of a sliding bar, basically. And there's a lot of ground in between the two. On the axis, I put role-playing, R-O-L-L, on one side, so that's rolling play. All dealing with dice, where the dice are going to determine a lot of the interactions and actions that the characters can take. And then opposite of that, I put role-playing, R-O-L-E, playing, where the character is enacted by the player. So they're going to use a lot of their actual player skills to enact some of the character aspects. Likewise, I started thinking about what are the variances of the campaign or the story or the adventure, the session that you're going to be playing. Is it really more story-based or mechanics-based? A good example is if your session is focused around a combat, generally it's going to be more mechanics-based, where the roll of dice, turns, and action economy are going to be the most important thing to focus on and everybody be in tune and aware of. As for the story aspect of it, it may require learning information, talking with NPCs, and getting into the story elements of the game, the lore, learning secrets, identifying what's going on around the characters or around the campaign world. On this axis, I put mechanics, but could also be rolling play. But here is where the mechanics take priority over storytelling pieces. And then at the opposite end is the story. So the story takes precedence over the mechanics. Examples of this is the characters won't die. Now, you might really compare this to both role-playing and rolling play, as I'm going to call it while I'm talking. But I think there are a couple of different aspects where you can actually make two different axes and start putting yourself into different buckets based on your preference. So this is the full chart that I've built. You can see both the axis leading into 4 different quadrants. We'll cover each of these 4 and how I kind of view them based on the axis that I put in and the items that I have in the axis. But we'll make separate videos for each of these, and that way you can easily dive in. Now, by no means is this complete or exhaustive or accurate or actually applicable to everyone. As I started looking at forming a new campaign group, I really started to talk to a lot of people to see what their interests were, how they were feeling around role-playing and rolling play, how comfortable they were with action economy or diving in and looking into story aspects of both their characters, the game world, the NPCs, what's going on around them, even their fellow party members. Kind of boiling it down into the 4 categories. If you and your party is very focused on that more tabletop gamer, where you're looking more at action economy, letting the dice dictate what goes on, what the next steps are, really relying on the stats and skills and checks and saving throws, and really letting the dice determine outcomes and aspects of the session and of the campaign overall. Having a role-playing storyteller may not be the best fit for the table, because they'll want to be spending more time doing RP, role-playing, with their fellow party members, NPCs, and while they're off doing a 1-hour session with the DM on just shopping, the rest of the players who are more interested in action economy and rolling play are going to get bored and frustrated. So finding an opportunity for fit that's best overall, or even just communicating what your style is, whether it's at your table or just your playing style, will really help you develop a good communication for those who are looking at either joining your table or joining in with a group, or even for you assembling a group or a table of your own. Really thinking about how to coordinate the type of play that you're going to be expecting and the type of play that you're wanting to avoid is going to be very critical to make sure that those that gathered up at your table are going to be having the most enjoyment and enjoying what you're wanting to enjoy. That way you can interact with them on the same playing field. Make sure that everybody is enjoying the aspects that you bring to the game, that you want to bring from those around you, and that you want to focus your attention and time on. Now, like myself, I've gone through lots of different versions of these buckets that I've created, and I find that there are aspects of the game that flow between them quite a bit. Now, my current preference is what I put in the bucket of a role-playing gamer, where the story and RP elements are very important, but I love the action economy and having to challenge the processes that the characters use in their builds. If they choose to have a background set of soldier, I want them to be able to highlight athletics and use skills that they choose. So for me, as a role-playing gamer, I want to make sure that the builds are very detailed and accurate, that the characters have an opportunity to shine, whatever their backgrounds or classes or features may be. But I also do enjoy role-playing for them to learn more about the game world, about their teammates, about NPCs, and how their characters' interactions are impacting those around them. So for me, I really enjoy that RP element as well as the mechanics aspect of Dungeons and Dragons and other game systems as well. Now, that's not to say that I haven't done just straight tabletop gaming or war gaming. Some of the game systems that I really enjoy really focus on that. Action economy is very important. There isn't as much focus on the RP aspect of it. It's about utilizing your skills, your talents, your equipment to the best of the ability to get through an adventure. And I've really enjoyed role-playing storytelling, getting to learn nuances and backstories of other player characters, what drove them to become adventurers, kind of being able to pick and see why they chose kind of to build the character they wanted, and what that character's planned journey is, what they're looking to gain, why they're out adventuring, why they've joined the party, as well as pulling aspects from DMs as well. In my past, learning some of the NPCs' backstories was really insightful to learn some of the aspects of the DM's world and get a better understanding of opportunities for the party to take on down the road or outside of the towns, or different paths that we could choose to make a positive impact in the growth that we wanted to achieve, whether that was building a castle and creating our own kingdoms, or just amassing a massive amount of gold and monster hunting until the lands were free of all evil. Regardless of what your playing style or dungeon mastering style is, understanding it and being able to communicate it to those in the community is going to help you to better situate yourself at a table where you are going to enjoy the role-playing or game mechanic aspects with others who are on the same plane as you. And it's really going to allow you to set expectations for what you expect to receive from the game. That way you're not suffering from burnout, you're not feeling like you're being neglected or just not in the right fit. After all, the hobby is all about having fun. Knowing what your preferred style is, being able to communicate it and enjoy that style with others is going to pay dividends for you and those who you share your love of the hobby with. And again, I know this chart that I've built isn't all-inclusive and exhaustive and correct, and definitely requires some tweaking and thoughts more on my end, just so I can dial it in. This is something that I just built for myself, but I really hope you're able to use aspects of this to better identify the type of role player that you are, the type of role player that you want to experience at a table with, and the type of role-playing community that you want to build around yourself. As we continue with more and more online gaming, it's very important to be able to quickly and clearly identify the type of experience you're hoping to achieve, the type of expectations that you want your party members or players to achieve and present so that everybody's comfortable, and of course get that experience so once we are able to fully meet back up in person, you're able to have a cadre of fellow gamers around you who know what your role-playing style is, who also have the same type of role-playing style, and you can build campaigns that can go on for ages. I hope this has been as helpful for you as it has for me. I'd love to hear your comments, so make sure you leave them down below. Let me know what you thought was interesting, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would twist and change and alter, and maybe even some of the nomenclature that you'd use. Most likely we'll be covering some of this in future videos as well, so I'm going to keep this spreadsheet alive and moving and able to add in ideas and thoughts. We'll probably visit it a time or two later on, but I really wanted to dive in and just start talking about how to find the best fit for you, and ultimately the best fit for me. Until next time, hope you enjoy. Make sure to leave that comment. That way you can let us know, where will your adventures take you? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's another video I think you might enjoy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, and make sure to hit that bell so you get notifications whenever we post new videos. Help us answer the question of, where will your adventures take you?